Hello, my dear learners. A very good morning, everyone. I am Shashank and I welcome you all on Exampur SSC English Medium YouTube channel. So, very good morning, guys, and welcome to the session. And please confirm your attendance as well. Then we are going to start a strategy session because you all know कि only less than 20 days. So from today itself, guys, 21 days are left to start. So almost 20 days, in fact, it is to start the SSC CGL exam because it will be starting from 1st of the December. So only 20 days are left for your examination to start. And how to prepare in these 20 days, what should be the important topics on which you should put extra attention to make the section easier for SSC CGL Tier 1. So today, guys, I will be discussing the strategy ki how you have to prepare for SSC Tier 1 within these 20 days. So within these 20 days, guys, how you have to prepare for SSC CGL examination Tier 1. So good morning, Vijay, and I hope everyone is writing the SSC CGL examination. So how we have to prepare, that should be the point to understand. Okay, how we should prepare so that we can gain maximum score within minimum time. Now, one thing you might be saying is, sir, according to the latest pattern, guys, according to the latest pattern, the general awareness section, the tier 1 has become only the qualifying. So according to the latest pattern, guys, tier 1 has become qualifying in nature. So it is tier 1 has become qualifying, is only qualifying in nature. But if it is only qualifying, that it does not mean you should start avoiding the things ki, okay, let's go for the previous type of preparation ki what we were doing earlier, we should also do the same. For this, do not do this because it is possible, it is much possible, it is much possible that SSC may change the pattern, change the pattern of asking questions. Since the pattern is changed, so SSC may change the, it is much possible that SSC may change the pattern of asking the question. So it is much possible. So I can well say it is much possible that it will change the pattern of asking the question. Now what pattern can be changed? Earlier, guys, what was the pattern? Earlier, 25 question, 2 marks, that was the 50 marks. Now it is also 50. 25 question, 2 marks, 50. Now, what can be the probable changes? What can be the changes that is probable? What can be the probable changes? The changes can be more weightage to current affairs, more weightage to current affairs section, then weightage on art and culture section, then weightage on physical geography. Earlier they were asking the Indian geography, so they can ask from the physical geography the question also. They can ask the question from the physical geography as well. So Ridappa and good morning. So more weightage to current affairs, art and culture, physical geography. Now in polity they can ask you the question from the constitutional. So polity may remain the same. Polity may remain the same. Other than in economics, weightage can be given to macroeconomics, weightage can be given to micro plus macroeconomics, and the last but not the least in science, the weightage can be given to technology part. the weightage they can give to the technology part. So that is my apprehension, guys, ki what they can do, especially in the general awareness section. So more weightage to current affairs. Earlier 3-4 questions of current affairs may coming, so they can increase the question from 7 to 8. And current affairs did not mean the last 4-5 month current affair. It may ask the question from the last 1 year current affair. So now what I think ki last 1 year current they can ask. So last 1 year current they can ask. So this is the high chances that they can ask the question from last 1 year current affairs. Now, art and culture section. Art and culture, that has become an important segment. Why? Because recently we added the Ramsar site. Now we have 75 Ramsar sites. We have the 40 UNESCO World Heritage site. So what they can do, they can start asking the questions from the Ramsar sites, in which state it is located, or they can ask you about the district also and for what thing it has been given. So what are the types of wetland is over there, what special flora and fauna which is found. So they can ask you the question from where, from that part. In art and culture section, especially the architectures of ancient India. Earlier they used to ask the question related to the architecture of medieval India, because medieval time period is full of architecture, right from Qutub Minar up to Bibi ka Maqbara that you have seen, ki right from Qutub Minar that was being built by Qutubuddin Aibak to Bibi ka Maqbara that was being built by Aurangzeb for his wife Rabia ud Daurani. The questions, art and culture question from medieval India they were asking. Now they can ask you the question from art and culture of modern on ancient India. So what I am thinking, ki in ancient they can art and culture, they can ask you the question from the ancient and modern as well. So questions from ancient India plus modern India as well. So in art and culture they can ask you the question from ancient and modern India as well. For example, what can be, they can ask you the question from ancient India. Example, that is Dashavatar temple. So where Dashavatar temple is located, where the stupas of Buddhism, earlier they were not being asked that much, only the famous stupa like Sanchi stupa, sometimes Bharhut stup they ask. Other than this, the inscription of Ashok, earlier they used, the examiner used to ask sometimes about the major rock edict. Now they can ask you about the minor rock edict and also the pillar edict. For example, Sarnath pillar edict, it is found where, and the animals that was being shown in the inscription of Ashoka, like what is the relevance of lion in the iron pillar of the Ashoka, in the pillar of Ashoka. Other than the Gupta period, like the very famous inscription, the very famous architecture is the iron pillar of Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Iron pillar of Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Chandragupta Vikramaditya. They can ask you about this also. Other than this movement idol of Yakshini that is found from the Sultanganj, that is in Bihar. So this type of question from ancient India they can ask. These are the example that I have given. Now in modern India they can ask you about the Victoria Memorial. That was being commissioned during the time of Lord Curzon. It is in Calcutta. Other than this, they can ask you the question about Gateway of India, the Viceroy House that is present Rashtrapati Bhavan. They can ask you the question on these things. So the now art and culture of the medieval, ancient India and modern India has also become an important segment from where they can ask you the question. Other than this, guys, if I talk about the important areas like physical geography, they can ask you the questions from the mapping. They can ask you the question from the mapping as well. So they will give you the map and they can ask you ki from this particular place is located where. Other than they can ask you the questions about the unconventional topics like the disaster management. They may ask you ki which are the things that can be did during the time of earthquake or during the time of avalanche. So we can expect a question, one question we can expect from the disaster management. Disaster management, because recently we witnessed an earthquake. Day before yesterday we witnessed earthquake. Say they can ask you about the Richter scale, they can ask you about the Markeli scale, about the systematic study of the earthquake. These are the points they can ask you. Other than this, guys, what I am thinking कि they can ask you the question from the straits, they can ask you the question from the bridges like Dhola Sadia bridge. They can ask you the question what type of bridge it is. Other than this, Morbi river, the Morbi bridge collapse, so they can ask you the question from there also. So they can ask the question from the, it is a topic of disaster management like collapse of the Morbi bridge. They can ask you the question कि this Morbi bridge is being built on which river. It is a cable bridge like we have Ram Jhula, Lakshman Jhula in Uttarakhand. So they can ask you the question like कि Morbi bridge is on which river. Anyone can answer this question कि this Morbi bridge which recently collapsed, this is on which river? This is on which river, guys? Morbi bridge that recently collapsed, that is on which river? So let me have some water, guys. Morbi bridge is on which river, guys? Morbi bridge that recently collapsed in Gujarat and in which many people, more than 100 of people, they died in this Morbi bridge, which is on which river? Anyone who can give me the answer? Morbi bridge is on which river? Morbi bridge is on which river, guys? Very easy question, and it is a question related to the current affairs also. Morbi bridge is on which river? Anyone, guys, hurry up, please answer this question. And it is a very easy question because I am not asking a question from the old affair. It is a very recent current affairs part of disaster management also. So they can ask you this type of question. It is on Machu river. So this is located on Machu. So they can ask you this type of question. So this is Machu river, guys, that is. So this type of question can be asked from the physical geography. Other than this, they can ask you the question, yes, that is the Machu river. So other than this, they can ask you the question. They will not ask you ki how many moons the planet Venus have, how many things the planet Venus have. So they will start asking the question that is a bit related to the new things, like they can ask you the question from mapping, they can ask you the question from disaster management. One question it is being expected to be asked. Now if I come to the polity question, guys, I don't think there will be much change in the polity section. So I don't think there should be too much change in the polity section. So we are not expecting too much changes in polity section. Why I am saying ki because we don't have any big political changes in it. So we don't have two big political changes in it in which can be asked. They can ask you the question from the topics that is important to be revised frequently. That can be the president, because recently 15th president joined. Other than this, vice president, because recently vice president also joined this year. Then judiciary. because the 50th Chief Justice of India took the oath, that was Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, and about his father they can also ask you the question about his father, that was Dhananjay Vishnu Chandrachud. He was the longest serving Chief Justice till now, 7 years, almost for a period of 7 years he served as the Chief Justice of India. So it can be asked. Other than this, guys, what I am expecting, this is my personal expectation, ki about the important or landmark judgments, of D.Y. Chandrachud. They can ask you about the important judgments of D.Y. Chandrachud, like it is on it, if it is on adultery, like it can be of the right to privacy, that is in Article 21, then adultery, then it can be adultery, or it can be the Sabrimala case. So they can ask you about the important judgments of the D.Y. Chandrachud also. This is my personal expectation. It may be there ki this particular thing was given by whom other than continuation of 10% EWS quota. Continuation of 10% EWS quota. By how many judgment it was being passed, by how many you can say majority it was being passed, continuation of 10% quota of EWS, because after giving this 10% reservation to EWS, the reservation will grow more than 50%. So it may be unconstitutional, but now Supreme Court has said it is not unconstitutional in nature and it is not the violation of the basic principles as well. So that continued. So they can ask you ki from what majority this 10% EWS quota was being implemented by Supreme Court. So what was the majority? By what majority? Now they can ask you about one question, guys. I think that was 3:5, definitely 3:5. Total 5 judges were there. It was a constitutional bench. Minimum 5 judges should be there. You all know कि for the constitutional cases minimum 5 judges bench are there. Okay, so Redhyappa, definitely more than 15 question you can attempt if you have revised the topics properly. More than 15 question you can well attempt. It is 25 question, and I will time and again I am saying, guys, ki please revise the current affairs properly, because sometimes what happens ki what I have seen last year ki they started asking the question from the old affairs. They started asking the question from old affairs, like budget is important. Please go through that budget. I have taken the session on it which will be available. So please read the budget carefully. Important points of the budget. Other than this, the last 1 year current affairs to be on the safer side, ki if God forbids anything goes surprising, that they started asking the question from old affairs, so still you should be in a position to solve the question. Now what I will say is, do not get panic while solving the question, because now it has become only qualifying in nature. So if you will score minimum cutoff, if for example the 200 marks, and if for a general category candidates, that is without EWS, if the cutoff goes to 170 and you score 170, that means you are qualified, and this tier 1 is not going to play any role in your final selection. So what I wish to say, guys, do not get panic in the examination. Do not get panic in the examination. So past year questions, it is important, and what I will say you at this point of time, ki start practicing test series. You all have test series, so start practicing the test series. Most of the student, what they does, कि they avoid test series. By the time, every time they start revising the things and they forget कि okay, we do have to practice test series. But please practice test series. Test series is an important point from where you may get direct question in exam. You may get direct questions in examination. You may get direct question in examination. One point is also important, that is about the collegium system. Collegium system that was introduced by D.Y. Chandrachud, that is 5 plus 1. So 5 plus 1 collegium system that was introduced by D.Y. Chandrachud. So you should also take care of this also. You should also take care of 5 plus 1 collegium system that was being introduced by Justice Dhananjay Vishnu Chandrachud. So this was about the this was all about the polity. I am not expecting too much changes in the polity section. So this point can be taken care of while revising. If this type of question comes, important judgment of Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, other than this about his father who was the 16th Chief Justice of India, other than this the president, which candidate was defeated by whom. So one thing you should remember guys, that is haunting time and again in my mind. So when I was thinking for this session, that was haunting in my mind, they may ask you the president of India is now Draupadi Murmu. So Draupadi Murmu defeated which candidate by how many votes? Now we have vice president as Jagdeep Dhankar. Jagdeep Dhankar defeated which candidate by how many votes? So this type of question may come, that the person who got defeated. So the person who got defeated, they can ask you कि Draupadi Murmu defeated which candidate? Which candidate by how many votes? This is important guys, because we all know the name of the candidates. The candidate was Yashwant Sinha. By how many votes she got Yashwant Sinha was defeated? They can ask you the question. Same type of question they can ask you about the Jagdeep Dhankar also, कि Jagdeep Dhankar defeated which candidate by how many votes? So this thing you should keep in mind, because sometimes earlier it was a banking pattern. So in bank they used to ask you which candidate was defeated in the sports, or especially in the tennis tournament. They can ask you who was defeated in this particular tennis tournament by how many sets? By how many sets? So this type of question may come in your SSC CGL tier 1, कि Draupadi Murmu defeated which candidate by how many votes, or Jagdeep Dhankar defeated which candidate by how many votes. So this type of question may come in your examination. Most important is the continuation of EWS sector, that is 10% quota was being granted for EWS community students. So this was about the important guys about the polity. Now come to economy. Let's come to the economy. What type of question can be expected from economy section? So let's come to economy. What type of question can be expected? So may I rub this thing guys? May I rub this thing? Okay, let's come to the economy section guys. Let's come to the economy. What type of question we expect from economy? See, from economy, economy, it is widely divided microeconomy plus macroeconomy. Microeconomy and macroeconomy. What I am yes, that is Yashwant. It is not Yashwant Chauhan. It is not Yashwant Chauhan. Guys, what I am expecting from the microeconomy, generally the students of CGL, they underestimate microeconomy, ki what type of question will come. They can ask you the question. They will not ask you the question of demand, supply. But what I am thinking guys, seeing the present scenario, they can ask you the questions that is related to market, because now the market has also become volatile. So they can ask you the question from market, that is what is perfect competition, oligopoly, duopoly, this type of questions. Other than, they can ask you that question on the types of goods. What is given goods, what is Veblen goods, what is benefit goods. So this type of question they can ask you the in examination, they will not ask, according to me, they will not go for what is demand, what is supply. That is not enough. Now, in macroeconomics, guys, I have strong possibility to be asked important type question in the macroeconomics. Now, what they can ask in the macroeconomics? According to me, they can ask you the question related to RBI and monetary policy. They can ask you the question related to RBI monetary policy. Then they can ask you the question related to unemployment. Because India is going through the worst phase of unemployment. Many startups are not performing well. Many layoffs are there. So they can ask you the question from unemployment as well. That is my personal expectation. Other than this, they will ask you the question from current budget. Current budget, they can ask you the question. Other than this, what I am thinking, the inflation is also going in a rapid way. There is an increase in the price of the vegetables as well. That is, the inflation is also there. Increase in the price of food and fuel. So we have the increase in the price of food and fuel also there. So they can ask you the question from inflation. And budget, guys, my strong hope is related to the budget 2022-23. I am not thinking they will ask you the question related to the technicalities of the budget, but they can ask you the direct questions from the budget that is related to budget 2022-23. Direct question they will be asking. They will not ask what is revenue budget, what are the components of revenue budget, what are the components of the capital budget, or the different types of deficits. So this is the condition what I am thinking ki RBI monetary policy is going to shoot up. Other than this, they can ask you the question from the latest trend like electronic fund transfers and all. So they can ask you the question from the modern economics. That is like about the EFT, that is electronic fund transfers. Now NEFT has become free. So this type of questions, other than about the NABARD and SIDBI, they can ask you the question. So what I am thinking is the chances of the getting microeconomics is less, but the chances of asking the question from the macroeconomics is more. So that is my perception, guys. And science side, that will be taken, science that can be best explained by Deep Mani sir can explain you best about the science ki what will come or what will not. In fact, Phillips curve, it is related to unemployment and inflation. Yes, because according to this, if the inflation increases, the unemployment decreases. That is the inverse relation between unemployment and inflation. If the inflation will increase, unemployment will decrease. Now guys, come to the next important section, that is all about the science. They can give you the weightage on technology as well. Now let's come to the static GK. Static GK portion. Static GK portion, guys, 2-3 questions from the static GK definitely may come in your examination. And what I am thinking, they can ask you the questions related to the sports and tournament, because this year FIFA is also held. T20 World Cup yesterday we got out from the T20 World Cup. So sports and tournament may be the figure of attraction. And guys, whenever you are talking about the tournament, so T20 World Cup, that is going to be an important event, and the FIFA. So sports and tournament, especially they can ask you the question from two events, that is FIFA and T20 World Cup. In T20 World Cup, what they will ask, they can ask you the person who has scored maximum runs. They can ask you the question that which sports person has scored maximum runs in T20 World Cup. Other than this, they can ask you the question related to who has taken maximum wickets. That is related to the T20 World Cup. The next T20 World Cup is going to be at which place. Now about FIFA. This time FIFA is being held by, it is being organized in Qatar, where the next FIFA is going to organized. Now by the time, if the things will be cleared, so who will be receiving the golden boots and all, so this type of things, so the ball, official ball of the FIFA, official mascot of FIFA, so this type of question may get asked in the examination. That is all about the FIFA and others. Next important is the awards. Awards, as always, Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize is high in demand. So Nobel Prize, they can ask you the question related to the Nobel Prize also. So Nobel Prize will be an important segment for our static GK. They can ask you about the Nobel Prize, who gives the, in which particular sector, which person has got which Nobel Prize. So they can ask you about the question related to Nobel Prize also. Third important segment can be the Ramsar and UNESCO sites in India. Ramsar and UNESCO sites in India. Which of the states has the maximum Ramsar site? Which is the newly added Ramsar site? Which state has maximum number of Ramsar sites? In fact, they can ask which country has maximum Ramsar site? Where is Ramsar? So this type of question can be asked, and same type of question can be asked from the UNESCO World Heritage sites also. We have 75 Ramsar and UNESCO 40 UNESCO World Heritage site. Now, the next important segment can be asked is all about the inclusion of the national park or wildlife sanctuaries or dams. So, national park, wildlife sanctuary, dams and bridges. Dams and bridges. Now in national park, guys, what can be asked? Recently we bought cheetah from Nigeria, from the place, so they can ask you about the Kuno National Park, where these cheetahs are being kept. How many of them they are female, how many of them they are male. They can ask you the question ki how many of the cheetahs that was being came, how many of them are male, how many of them they are female. About the dams and bridges, like Machu River, the famous Morbi bridge collapse. So they can ask you the Morbi bridge was on which river, it is located in which state. Recently Dhola Sadia was in news, so what type of bridge it is. Chenab river bridge, that is also being opened, so they can ask you about the question from this, about the dams and bridges. So that should be taken care of. Other than this, guys, what my perception is, they can ask you the question from the national and international static affairs. So the national and international affairs are also important, but it is very wide in nature, that is the national and international affair. So you should have the glance of the events. Now in technology, they can ask you about the space tech and they can ask you about the defense tech. So two technologies is important, space tech and defense tech. Technology, space tech and defense tech, they are important to be gone through. Now guys, this was all about a brief thing that what can be asked in the SSC CGL, especially in tier 1. Especially in tier 1. And in history, guys, conventional subject history, please revise the modern India properly and special taken care of the Gandhinian struggles, because Gandhinian struggle is always an important segment. So in Indian history, guys, art and culture and Gandhinian struggle especially, that should be taken care of, because the Gandhinian struggle is all-time favorite chapter of the examiner to be asked. Now, most important thing, guys, during this time period is to practice more and more session, and for this practice we are bringing continuously the marathon session with you. And my marathon for today, my special session for today, that I was continuing the history. So recently we completed the medieval India, that is the Delhi Sultanate. Now from today at 2 p.m. sharp, I will be completing the Mughal dynasty also. I will be completing the Mughal dynasty also, and Milan sir will also be taking care of your geography section. And after this, only an economy will be there. There we will discuss all the important segments. So these are the things that has to be taken care of. I am not expecting too much changes in SSC CGL Tier 1, because my perception is that the tier 1 will remain the same. All the necessary games that will happen in tier 2, and according to me, what should be the pattern of tier 2? That should be based on understanding of the question, like consider the statements, like on the questions related to the mapping areas. So they can ask you this way of the question, because tier 2 is going to provide the vital role in which through which the final merit will be decided. So my perception is that more game will be in tier 2 rather than in tier 1. Hopefully the tier 1 syllabus may remain the same. I am not 100% sure, because since now it is only qualifying in nature, so students, what they will think, other than if they can score 70 to 80%, that will depend upon the difficulty level of the question, they will land in safe score. And if you get minimum qualifying marks according to your category also, then you are eligible to write the tier 2, and whole game will be in tier 2. So once tier 1 is completed, we can see the level of the question, then we will definitely come up with the strategy session of tier 2, how you have to attempt for tier 2 examination, what should be the course of action for it, and what necessary preparation you have to do. But my opinion, they will ask you the question in CGL tier 2, which will be the main examination, in which they can ask you the question that is related to the conceptual understanding of the subject. So if you are conceptually strong, then nothing is going to bother you. That may be in CGL tier 1, that may be factual in nature, or CGL tier 2, that may be factual plus conceptual in nature. So what you have to do in last 21 days, please go through our session. We will be bringing the special 3 hours marathon session from 7 to 10 p.m. in night. Other than of all the different subjects, I will be sharing the study plan in the Telegram channel also. Other than this, guys, you have to start writing the mock test as much as you can, because mock test will do two things. First of all, take the fear out of you of the examination, that is examophobia. It will take out your examophobia. Other than this, sometimes some good questions are in test series, so through there you can also prepare for this. What will be expecting cutoff, guys? Since the examination has not happened till now, I will be not saying anything about the expected cutoff, but it will be according to the 70 to 75% according to me, but it is not 100% true. Reason is this, the examination has not happened till now, so without seeing the level of the question, how can I say what should be the expected cutoff? So without having the examination, I am not a person who just will close my eyes and some intuition will come, okay, this year this will be the CGL cutoff. So without seeing the difficulty level of the question, because CGL will be held in different shift from 1st to 13, and you will find, guys, that the difficulty level of every section every day it differs. Few saying between 110 to 130, that I cannot say. Reason is this, they might be saying because now it has become qualifying in nature and the best game will be in tier 2, but without seeing the difficulty level, it will be giving you the false hopes. So if I say 130, 140 will be the cutoff, it is just giving you the false hopes, because without seeing the difficulty level of the question, we cannot predict anything. And first of all, you have to see what type of the examination has not started yet. What we can say, we have to go through the preparation properly, writing the test series, so that once it comes in the examination, you should not feel the peer pressure of it. And do not go for cutoff analysis, before the examination ki what one is saying what one is saying what. So do not go for cutoff analysis. First of all, go for the test series for the preparation, because at last if you do not do anything, then only the cutoff will be there. So cutoff analysis will go in vain. So do not rush for the cutoff, what will be the cutoff and all, because with before examination we cannot say anything. And normalization is also there in CGL. It is not like that in like UPSC or NDA, CDS ki the whole India the examination is conducted on the same day, same time. It is not like this. So examination is conducted on the multiple shift, and therefore normalization is being done. So in normalization the person gets less, in total gets more in normalization. So do not do this. Do not rush for cutoff. First of all, rush for preparing the examination very well, because these 21 days are very much crucial for your examination. Now almost the festival season is also gone, so you can pay proper attention for your studies. Now the festival season is also over. Deepavali is over. Chhat Puja for Delhi UP for Bihar UP students is also over. So now you can pay proper attention towards your studies, and minimum you should write 2 mock in a 2 to 3 mock in a day, because only 21 days are left for your examination. And try to analyze the mocks as soon as possible. Indicate your gray areas, start working on it. So guys, with this I conclude my session of today, and in this session I have given you a brief ki how to prepare for the SSC CGL examination tier 1. And after seeing the difficulty level of tier 1, then we will definitely be discussing ki what should be your strategy and preparational plan for CGL tier 2 that will play a very big game for your examination. So see you sharp at 2 p.m. for my session. It will be a 2-hour long session in which we will be covering the complete Mughal dynasty, according to the need of SSC examination. So that was all from my side guys, and I hope you must have found this thing interesting. So please like and share the video, as well as if you are new to our channel, please subscribe Exampur SSC English Medium YouTube channel. So that was all for the day. Let's meet sharp at 2 p.m. for the complete session of medieval India, that is the Mughal dynasty. Bye bye everyone. Do take good care of yourself.